I didn't come with a ton of expectations, but I think there is an idea that I had about ayahuasca, that you're in a jungle and there's like a really like mystic shaman with a feather hat guiding you, and there's throwing up, and like, you know, it's a very like scary concept. And honestly, I didn't do a lot of research before coming. I think I know a lot of people in my life who have done it and I've trusted. And so I think that it's hard to say because I didn't have a ton of expectations. I will say what I did expect, this experience has far exceeded that. I wasn't really thinking about everything that would happen outside of the plant medicine ceremonies, but that definitely had an impact on how deep I was able to go from the plant medicine. There was, you know, the times that I was actually sitting with the medicine, which I guess estimating is 6 hours, 3 times, right? But then the rest of that time it felt like everything was intentional to really integrate that medicine. Because it's possible to perhaps go and take the medicine and then go, you know, and leave and wake up and take off the eye mask and then like eat poorly or like be on your cell phone, or, you know, and not that those things are bad, and in our everyday lives we do that. It's just that there's something about keeping the body pure, you know. It feels like maybe the medicine goes through better that way. And it felt right, and it was really hard. Like it wasn't my preference a lot of the time. I wanted to eat a lot of the time, like, you know, on the times that we fasted, but the discomfort was also a teacher a lot of the time. Seeing how even when we're conscious we can have this connection with, you know, with ourselves and with one another and with spirit, it was just a really nice reminder. It felt cleansing. The plant medicine we took during that was very new and interesting as well. And the space to express was also really, really healing. It's so interesting that we use time as a tool, and when in fact it can also be seen as a distraction. And I guess that's what it is, right? It's a tool and it can be used, but I've definitely abused it. And so not having that, again, really hard. Like, my life is very governed by structure, probably like most people's, and so it's comforting and nice to have that structure of time in the day. But when you let that go, you realize that guidance, I suppose, or that knowledge is it can be within, and it can be an easier way to connect to oneself, if that makes sense. And so it was really hard for me to not have books, to not have my journal for part of it. I guess, you know, when I have that available to me, it's so easy to just go to it. And my phone, you know, it's just like comfort, instant gratification. And books, it's like not as bad as the cell phone, right? But it still was something that having it taken away from me or whatever, I think will, once I'm reintegrated back into life, I'll see the value in it very differently. I'll see it as the tool that it is, and the cell phone is a tool, and books and time and sleep, food, like these are all things that were deprived to a certain extent, and that is something, I guess as someone who's dealt with addiction knows that that is the best way to learn how to use a tool, is to take it away, even if it's temporary. I think Carlos is an exceptional leader, and a leader that really, I guess, teaches by example, if that makes sense. And so he really was human, which is so helpful. And he's, you know, I suppose when I think about like my original stereotype of a shaman, he doesn't fit that, right? He actually just kind of looks like a regular person, and he also lives his life regularly. He's incredibly honest with us, and that was really helpful for us to see, because it kind of shows, like, you know, you don't have to put on a front, if that makes sense. Like, you can kind of just live your life. I guess that's my biggest takeaway for integration from Carlos is, you know, and also his wisdom was really incredible, and his words have repeated in my mind multiple times during this experience. Yeah, there's several. Yeah. Inspiration is in spirit, right? Inspire. Just like respire, to breathe, is to reintegrate spirit into oneself. And so, yeah, I don't know, I think about that word a lot, inspiration. I think that I've been incredibly inspired here, not only from the medicine and the integration, but being around others and seeing myself in them as a mirror. So incredibly inspired by the stories that Carlos has told, that you have demonstrated as well. And yeah, like my life has definitely changed, and I almost feel like it's a cliche, like to be that person that does ayahuasca and like, you know, quits their job. Part of me like really, I don't know, I judge myself, I think. But yeah, inspired is an understatement.